Good morning and welcome to my podcast. My name is Ella, and in this podcast, I will be sharing with you stories of strength, survival, and healing. Again, my name is Ella, and I'm a domestic violence survivor. I am no longer a victim, but I am victorious. I am a survivor and a striver. And in this podcast, it is dedicated to all women and men all around the world who have suffered domestic violence. Whether you are a survivor or an ally, you are in the right place. Or even if it's someone that is seeking hope. I need you guys to share this because knowledge is power, but only if you use it. And in today's episode, I wanted to talk about speaking up for yourself. What does it mean to speak up for yourself, to have a voice? Because in most occasions, when you are being abused, you are silent. You're silent. And the abuser makes it perfectly clear not to tell no one. Don't never let no one silence you. You have a voice, use it. That's the only thing that's going to save you is your voice. And so I am the voice on today for the voiceless. For those of you that is in my shoes that I once was in that couldn't speak up for themselves, I'm going to be an advocate and I'm going to be your voice for you. I didn't have this. I had to figure it out. I had to suffer. I had to learn. I had to wait. But it's okay. Because God was only preparing me to share my story and to be a testimony of his greatness. For those of you that know my story, I was in a 20-year domestic violent relationship. And yeah, you heard right, 20 years. No judgment. For those of you that thinks that it's easy to get out, it's more harder than you can even imagine. And so no judgment. I started being abused when I was about 16 years old, right? Due to the hands of grown men, okay? Not children, but grown men. And, yeah, it's not easy to get out at all. And it's the manipulation, it's the power, it's the control. Whenever someone has power and control over you, it's never easy. And so I say to you guys on today, to start to speak up for yourself, not just in romantic relationships, but in any kind of relationship. Speak up when it comes to co-workers, neighbors, parents, children, aunties, uncles. If you don't want to do something, speak up. Your voice is violent. You have to learn how to speak up for yourself because nobody is going to speak up for you. I can be the voice for you, but you have to do the work. I need you guys to share this to your family and your friends. Start with self-awareness. Identify your needs, your boundaries, and practice expressing them confidently. That's how you start speaking up for yourself. Creating boundaries is so important when it comes to any kind of relationship, even a relationship with your children. Creating boundaries. Making sure your needs are met and not just the other person. Prepare your message. Choose the right time and place, and use I statements. I simplified me, right? When you say I need, I want, right? That simplifies you, what you want, right? To express your needs and your feelings. And make sure that it is heard and that it is respected. I was in a relationship for 20 years where I never could say I. Never. I was silent. Could never express how I felt. Everything was about this individual, and any time that I try to voice my opinion or I try to make a statement about myself or what I wanted and what I needed, it was never validated. And so on today, I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that I have a voice. I will use my voice for me, and not just for me, but I'm going to use my voice so that other people can be saved from bad relationships. Express yourself and have a voice. It is nothing like you being controlled to the point where people are watching your time, watching your phone, watching everything that you do. I remember I was training for a position that I was trying to, get a job in. And I went and I was doing my training. And as soon as I got out, I was on a time because he knew what time I get out of the training. So if it's 5 o'clock and it takes me 30 minutes to get home, I had to be home within that 30-minute period. Now, anything could have happened. The bus could have been late. I could have walked a little slower. I might have stopped and chit-chat for a while. That I never did. Whenever I went somewhere, I knew I was on a timer, right? And that's the worst feeling that you can have. As a grown person, being set on a time schedule to be home, you still feel like a kid. You remember when you give your kids a curfew to be in? And then you scold them after if they come in after that time? That's the type of abuse I was going through when I was married to this individual. Whenever I went somewhere, I had to give a time when I was coming back. And if I wasn't back on that time, I was scolded. And he was waiting for me. What happened? It could be 5 minutes. It could be 2 minutes. It could even be 1 minute. What happened? Didn't you get out at 5 o'clock? It only take you 30 minutes to get home. What was you doing? Well, what could I possibly be doing in 2 minutes? And the thing is that with him, he was afraid that someone was going to enlighten me. Someone was going to show me love, and I was going to realize what I was getting from him was not love. And this is the reason why they try to isolate you from everyone. Because they do not want nobody to be in your ear. They don't want no one to let you know what's really going on. Because you're dumb about it. And you're blind with love or fear. And he didn't even want me to work. Leave it up to him, I would not even have had a job. But because he didn't want to work, I was allowed to work. But he always timed me When I got out of the class, I was out the door like a child on my way home. Sometimes, my classmates would say, "Hey, Ella, what's going on? Every time I see you, girl, you like the road runner. You never stop to talk to people. You never communicate with people. You never, because when you get out of class, you want to stand, you want to talk, chit chat, maybe about the class, maybe just have a breather before you go home." No, I was like the road runner out the door. And the only reason why I was like that because I didn't want to stir any conflict up with this jokester. See, you always try to keep the peace. But sometimes, no matter what you do, it's still not peaceful. Because they will find something else to complain about. Now, I used to try to make it home on the dot, but there was always something else that he complained about. Always. My peace was outside of my home. That's where my peace was. And when your home is no longer your castle, then that's a problem in itself. When you can't no longer speak up for yourself, then that's a problem in itself. Not being able to speak up for yourself, feeling like you don't want to be home, the outside world is better than being home. Whenever I had to come home, I started getting anxiety. I started getting nervous because I didn't know what this jokester was up to. I didn't know what type of mood he was in. I didn't know if he was going to start. I didn't know if he was drunk. I didn't know if he was high. You understand what I'm saying? So I didn't know what was going on with him. So I did not want to come home. I would rather be out in the streets than to be in my own home. And that's a problem in itself. Because my peace was no longer at home. My peace was outside. Talking to other people. Being respected by other people. Feeling loved by other people. From the outside. See, this is the love that you're supposed to feel within your home dynamic. From your husband, from your kids, from your family. But I never felt that. I felt the love from my kids, but I did not feel the love from my husband. I married this jokester and gave him 3 kids, and he treated me like the rubbish on his feet. He treated me like the rubbish on his feet. And see, the thing is that if you ask where he's at today, he's right where he belonged. He's right where he belonged because one thing for certain and 2 things for sure. You don't mess with God's kids. You do not mess with God's people. God have blessed him with a beautiful, not just a physical beautiful wife, but a beautiful wife with a good heart, with a loving spirit, that took care of her husband, that took care of her home, and that took care of her children. Some women you have out here, they have kids and they get married and they still run the street. I was a maid wife. I took care of everything that I needed to take care of. My house was always immaculate. Everything was in place. My children always went and got their education. They were clean. They were fed. They were loved. And so was my husband. But he did not deserve anything that I gave him. Nothing. Because the more I gave him, the more he wanted. The more he was disrespectful. The more he was abusive. The more he did not appreciate. So you got to learn how to speak up for yourself. One of the ways that you can speak up for yourself is self-awareness. and understanding. I need to share this. I have a lot of people on my live. You guys need to share this from my Facebook platform and from my TikTok platform, because knowledge is power. I need to start seeing that blue arrow going off. This is the type of things that you guys need to share. Not challenges, but these are the type of things that you need to share. And I haven't seen that share button one time. And this is the reason why we live in the world that we live in today. It could be your kids. It could be your mother. It could be your father. It could be your sister. It could be your neighbor that might be going through abuse and you don't even know. But if you share this, thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. I really appreciate it. And the reason why we don't get the help that we need is because we overlook things like this. We don't share information like this. We would rather share something that has no value in life. I wish that I could have been able to watch a video like this 30 years ago. Thank you for sharing. I wish that I was able to watch videos like this. I wouldn't have been in 20 years of abusive relationship, I tell you that. Thank you. Good morning from New York. Appreciate you for joining me on today, Tony. And so when I tell you guys, the most important thing to do is whenever you see this beautiful face, it's always going to be something positive. It's always going to be something educational. And I'm always going to give good energy. So you need to share the contents that I put out. It helps with the algorithm. It helps with me being able to create more videos like this. Now, I know this is not for everybody. I know that there's also some haters back there. I know that there's some womanizers back there. I know that there's some abusers that don't even care to see this, right? Because they want to continue to keep the power and control over whoever it is that they are controlling. And I understand it. Maybe you also need to watch it so that you can get your life together, because the only thing that is going to lead to is prison or death. If you continue to abuse someone that don't deserve to be abused, your life would never be worth nothing. When this jokester left me, or when I left him rather, right? I left him, I got a divorce, I moved on with my children. And see, the thing about it is that they're funny because they use their situation, right, to manipulate other women. So when he got kicked out, he riding the train and he's all depressed and he's all sad. And so another woman comes into his presence and they use that. Very handsome, dark-skinned guy, right? Most of them look good. They just look good, you know? And you got to be careful with people that look good, because they can have an evil spirit. Looks is not everything. But when you're young, that's what you go for. Sometimes the ugliest person is the ones that treat you the best. The ones that can have the good heart. So don't underestimate people that don't have the beauty on the outside, because they have the beauty on the inside. When he left me, or when I left him rather, he met this other woman, this Jamaican chick, right? And you already know how they are. They ain't let nobody control them. He found himself on the other side of the stick, right? He found himself dodging for her calls whenever she called him, because he knew that she wasn't having it. But the thing about it is he couldn't stay in that relationship too long. You know why? Because he can't let no one control him. It was one day where he was in my presence because he was always visiting his kids. And his phone was ringing, and he answered it on the first call. I said, "What? I was married to you for 20 years, and I couldn't get you to answer the phone call in one ring, and you answering it to another woman in one ring? Wow." So I guess the table have turned. Of course, that relationship didn't last long. Again, it's all about power and control. And if he wasn't into power and control, that relationship was no good. So that might have lasted a good year. And then he found his way to find someone else that was weak. See, abusers always find women that are weak, that have went through trauma, that never had their father in their life or father figure in their life. And that's one of the reasons why I always speak about it's so very important that fathers are in their girls' life as well as their sons. But fathers need to be in their girls' life, their daughters. Because your father, your daddy, is your first love. He's the man, right? That is the first one that's going to show you and teach you about how a man is supposed to treat you and respect you. And a lot of young girls out there don't have their father in their life, and that's the reason why they're in the predicament that I was once in. I didn't have my father in my life. My father was a weekend dad, right? He came on the weekend, he gave us money, he took us out a little bit, and he was gone. I needed more than that. Maybe some people don't need it, but I needed more than that. And I used to always look, outside at little girls walking with their dad, laughing with their dad, and I always desired to have that. I always desired to have the relationships that I see with little girls walking and laughing and having such a good time with their dad. And I always craved that and never had it. So this is the reason why I kind of gravitated to older men. I have never dated no one my age. They was always older, 5, 6, 7, 8 years older than I am. You understand what I'm saying? My husband is 8 years older than I am. I have always gravitated to older men, and I think that is because I was kind of looking for that father figure in my mate. I wanted the love from my mate that my father should have given me. And there's a different type of love. There's a different type of love when it comes to your dad and your spouse. But I feel like that's the reason why I've always gravitated to older men, because I was lacking having my daddy in my life. And that's why I got into abusive relationships after abusive relationships. I'm talking about from the time I was dating in high school. It was minor until I met my husband, my ex-husband. But I've always met people that was abusive, men. But that last one really did a doozy on me, because I stayed in it for 20 years. And that taught me a lot. That taught me a lot. When you are self-aware of yourself, you have to identify triggers. Recognizing situations or people that make you feel uncomfortable. If someone is making you feel uncomfortable, speak up. Let them know you can't talk to me like that. That is unacceptable. That's a boundary that you're crossing. And you have to do something about it. Because if you don't do something about it, they're going to keep on doing it. See, nobody can step on you unless you lay there like a mat and let them step on you. No one can control you unless you sit there and you let them control you. That's why boundaries are supposed to be set. Just like traffic lights. You have green, yellow, and red. And you know what all the traffic light means. You know what it means when you see a sign that says no left. You know what it means when you see a sign that says no right. Right? You know when those orange cones are put in the streets. You know what that means. You know that means that you can't go through there. You know when you see a bus, a children's bus that's taking kids to school, right? You know when you see that bus, you can't pass it. Boundaries. If you pass it, what happens? If you run that red light, what happens? You get a ticket. Or you have the police pulling you over. Right? So boundaries are supposed to be set in your life. And a lot of us have boundaries, but when it's crossed, what do we do about it? What do you do about the boundaries that are crossed in your life? Think about that. You tell people, don't call me after 10 o'clock p.m. because I go to bed, and you have that straggling of people that will call you after 10 o'clock when you ask them not to call you after 10 o'clock, and you still answer the phone. That means that they're crossing boundaries, and they don't care about you going to bed at 10 o'clock. Guess what? If I go to bed at 10 o'clock, I will not be answering my phone unless it's my kids. And they already know that if it's not in an emergency, don't call me. Don't call me. You tell someone not to come to your house and show up at your house without announcing themselves and letting you know, and you see somebody come knocking on your door. Hey, it's me. I was in the neighborhood. No. I will not let you in. I could be in that house, sitting right there on that couch, laying right there in that bed, and you knocking on my door, and I will not answer because you are crossing boundaries. You're not respecting my wishes. And if they do it once, they're going to do it twice. And if they do it twice, they're going to keep on doing it. You're the one that has to do something about people crossing your boundaries. Only you. Nobody else. Okay? When you're identifying your triggers, you have to make sure that you realize, or you recognize situations or people that is making you feel uncomfortable, and you need to do something about it. Even in the dating scene. Say I have this dress on, right? And I'm going out dating. Hypothetical example. And the person is in my presence. Thank you for sharing. The person is in my presence, right? And they make a comment about my cleavage, right? And I don't say nothing about it. They say, oh, wow, I like the skin, or whatever they say, right? If you don't put them in their place, they're going to take it a little bit further. And I know you guys have heard of, if you give them an inch, they take a mile. And they will. As long as you keep giving them a little bit, before you know it, it'll be blown out of proportion. If someone disrespect you, if someone says something to you that you don't like, put them in their place. See, a lot of women or men, they are afraid to speak up because they're afraid of the person's reaction. And that is called people pleasers. You always want to please someone. You're feeling uncomfortable because you want to please that other individual. Right? It's about you. Everybody can be pleased all the time. Not even in marriage. Sometimes I will compromise and do stuff that my husband want to do, but sometimes if I don't want to do it, guess what? I'm not going to do it. Because it's about me. And I know that I have to compromise within my marriage, but if I don't want to do something and I'm strong on it, I'm not going to do it. See, he likes to talk about politics, right? And I don't like to talk about it. That's something that I never like talking about it. So there's no way that he could get me to talk about it. And sometimes he gets upset, and it's okay. It's okay for you getting upset. Because you're not going to make me talk about something that I don't want to talk about. I'm not going to be uncomfortable for you to be comfortable. You understand what I'm saying? I refuse to be uncomfortable to make you comfortable. And he says he feels some type of way. Because every time he comes to me with this politics stuff, I stop him in his track. I don't want to hear it. Or I feel some type of way. I can't even come to my wife and talk about certain things that's on my mind. I said, yeah, when it comes to politics, no. You got to find somebody else to talk to. I refuse for him to make me feel guilty and talk about something that I don't want to talk about. Been there, done that. I was once a people pleaser, where I did everything to please someone else. And you know what happened to me? I got nowhere. I got absolutely nowhere. It's like you're trying to run and you're never getting nowhere. So I learned that the only time I'm going to do something is when Ella wants to do it. If I don't want to do something, guess what? She's not going to do it. She's not going to do it. You understand what I'm saying? Because even though sometimes when you're pleasing other people, you have to start thinking about how you feeling. While that other person is happy, they're a happy camper, how you feeling? How are you feeling? So your feelings doesn't matter? It does. It sure does. Stop being a doormat. Get up. Because nobody can step on you unless you allow them to step on you. Okay? Understanding your triggers can help you prepare and manage your emotions. You have to honor your emotions. Acknowledge and accept your feelings, right? And don't suppress them, as this can lead to resentment and difficulty speaking up. And I'm going to give you an example. I love to give examples, right? Those of you guys that have grandchildren, right? And we know that we love our grandkids to the death, right? Your kids, they're always trying to make you a built-in babysitter. And sometimes you just don't want to be bothered. You know, you just don't want to be bothered. You want to relax. You don't raise your kids. You just want to relax, and they'll come to you. Oh, mommy, I want to go out. Could you watch such and such, right? And even though you don't want to do it, you'll still do it, right? You will still do it. This can lead to resentment, and this can also lead to you not speaking up for yourself. I have done it. My girls, they had kids, right? They had my grandbabies, right? And they used to come and they used to drop the kids off, right? And they used to go out. And sometimes they ain't tell me that they was going to come back. You got to tell me now. If you coming back, let me know when you're coming back, and respect the time that you're supposed to be coming back. If you tell me you're coming back at 11 or 12 o'clock at night, I expect for you to be there. Or I expect for you to at least call me and let me know. You don't just stay out all night long and don't tell me nothing. Right? And that's where I had to draw the line. You don't walk in my house at 3 and 4 a.m. in the morning. I have to stay up because I like my door locked. Right? So that means I have to keep it unlocked in order for you to get in. Thank you, Francisco, for joining my live. I appreciate you. And so I had to realize that, Ella, you got to speak up for yourself. If you don't like what they're doing, tell them. Open up your mouth. Speak up. Because I would just be angry or upset, you know, and I wouldn't say nothing. And so I learned. And I told them, I said, listen, if you're going to stay out, and you know whether you're going to stay out or not before you even come to drop the kids off, let me know. That way, one, I could prepare them to stay the night, or two, when they start asking about where my mama at, I could tell them, listen, mommy will be here at this time. Because when you tell a child something, they look for it. And I don't want to look like the liar. You understand what I'm saying? If you tell your child that you're picking them up at a certain time, you need to be there. Or you need to call me and let me know, listen, I'm running a little bit late. I'll be there. But don't just leave me sitting there in the dark. And then when I call you, then you like, oh, I just decided to hang out a little bit longer. No, you don't. You don't do that to somebody. That's taking advantage of them. That's taking their kindness for their weakness. If you decide that you want to stay out a little bit longer, the right thing for you to do is to call that person that is watching your child and tell that person that, listen, is it okay? You don't tell me that you're going to stay out a little bit longer. Is it okay for me to stay out a little bit longer because I'm having fun? I might say yeah, or I might say, listen, I'm tired. Come and get your child. That's your child. But you don't just disregard someone's phone call and do what you want to do. Because the only thing that that's going to lead to is that you will not have a babysitter. Not from me. And I love my grandkids. I love my grandkids, but you will not take advantage of me. You will not do it. I will not stand for no one to use me and take advantage of me. In preparation and strategy, you have to plan your message. Outline what you want to say. Thank you for sharing. You have to outline what you want to say and how you want to say it. Even if you have to practice it. Excuse me. Even if you have to practice it, right? Outline it, write it down, prepare for it, whatever way you have to do it, but you have to speak up. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate you guys. This will help you feel more comfortable with preparing what you want to say, because some people, they don't know how to express themselves. You know? They don't know how to express themselves. So they don't even know what to say. They'll say, oh, I don't even know what to say. I know I don't like this, but how can I say it? Don't worry about hurting other people's feelings, because they not worrying about hurting your feelings. Right? I mean, I would try not to hurt someone's feelings. And I'll even say, well, you know, this is not meant to hurt your feelings. And I hope that you don't take it no way. But I'm going to tell you. If I don't like something, I'm going to say it. Because I've been holding back my feelings and my voice for so long. And when Ella don't like something, she is going to say it. If I feel like you're coming at me in some type of way, I'm going to express it. And I don't care if you don't like it. I'm going to express it. If you're making me feel some type of way, I am going to express my feelings. Because the only thing that it does is when you don't express your feelings, is that you start having resentment and anger towards the person that's always coming after you, that's always coming at you. And some people, they could do it in a slick way, a joking way. Make it seem like it's a joke. But if I'm feeling some type of way, it ain't no joke. Thank you for the stars, Francisco. You guys on my Facebook page, you can support me by giving me stars. Okay? You guys on my TikTok platform, you know that you can give me roses, you can give me glitters, and you guys are always giving me glitters and roses. I appreciate you. All the gifts that you guys give me. It helps with the algorithm, and it also helps me to be able to continue the, putting out content like this. So I really appreciate you guys. Okay? Choose the right time and place for things. Like they say, there's a time and place for everything, right? And sometimes you have to consider choosing the right time. Don't say things when you're angry, because it could come off totally different. Make sure that you're calm, right? If they come knocking on your door 2 o'clock in the morning after they've been out and then tell you they was coming back, the time for you is not to start yelling and screaming, Thank you. You're being fully back. I appreciate it. Make sure that you choose a time and a place of when you want to choose to say something, because saying things out of anger, when you're angry, when you're heated up, is not always a good thing. Wait until a couple days later and you call them on the phone and you say, listen, I just wanted to talk to you about the other day where, you went out and you asked me to watch your child, and I watched your child, and you stayed out all night, or you stayed out past your time. I want to tell you that you can't do that again. That is unacceptable. You're crossing boundaries. If you're going to do that, you need to do A, B, and C. And it's just as simple as that. Right? A lot of times we don't get because we don't speak up. A closed mouth cannot be fed. If you don't like something, speak on it, and it don't always have to be a negative thing. Speak on it when you're calm. Let them know this can't happen again, and let them know if it happens again, what's the repercussion. Because sometimes you got people that will try you and they will do it again. When they do it again, then that's when you need to do something about it. Because that means that they totally disregarding what you said. They don't care about your feelings. They don't care about what you said. And they're going to cross boundaries anyway. So what you going to do about it? Sometimes people will test you. They will test you. You understand what I'm saying? So you need to set clear boundaries, right? You need to use the I statement, right? Express your needs and feelings without blaming or accusing others. And I'm going to give you an example of that. I'm going to give you an example of not accusing someone. You always, right? When you say you always, that means that you're blaming someone. You can say things like, I feel like you're taking advantage of me, instead of saying you always taking advantage of people. Make it personal, right? Because it ain't about you always. Maybe they don't do it to other people. Maybe they just do it to you. So make it personal and say, I feel like you're taking advantage of me. You can't tell me the way I feel, right? So don't make it where you're blaming them for something that they maybe not even doing. They could just be doing it for you. So try to make it personal. Set clear boundaries. Establish clear boundaries, guys, and communicate the boundaries. This helps you protect your time, your energy, and your emotions, and your well-being. Instead of you being stressed out about something, if you don't set boundaries, you're going to always be stressed. You're going to always be stressed. And the most thing I always talk about is communication. Don't sit there and let nobody walk all over you and say things to you and you don't open up your mouth. If you feel some type of way, open up your mouth. Let them know. Don't talk to me like that. And if they continue talking to you like that, then you need to do something about it. Maybe you need to separate yourself from them. Those are not people that you need to be around that is constantly crossing your boundaries and not respecting you. You understand what I'm saying, guys? Start small. Practice speaking up in less stressful situations. Don't let it go from 1 to 10 and then try to talk up. Because while you're at 10, it could get heated. So start in small situations. This can help you build confidence and reduce anxiety. If someone left a cup on the counter and that's not something that you like, that's something small, right? Tell them, listen, I never leave cups. I never leave cups on my counter. Someone visiting you. I try not to never leave dishes out or in my sink, overnight. So could you do me a favor? Could you, whenever you're eating or whenever you're done eating, could you please just wash your dish and put it away? Thank you. Simple. Very, very simple. And also, guys, use body languages, right? Maintain eye contact. Whenever you're maintaining eye contact, a person knows that you're serious. They know when you're serious when you're looking at them. Don't be afraid to look someone in the eyes. If you're talking to them, but you're like looking away, that looks like you're intimidated, that, you're scared to talk to them. Be bold enough to look a person in their eyes when you're talking to them. And stand tall. Don't stand slouching around. Oh, could you do me a favor? Could you put the cup away? No, stand up. Stand up. And boldly talk to them. And it don't have to be nothing to upset them or nothing like that. But go to them. Stand tall. Look them in the eyes. And use a open, relaxed body language to communicate. To show them that you are confident in yourself. And you're serious about what you say. Okay? And stay calm and clear. Right? Speak calm. Speak clear. Even if the other person is upset. They could be yelling and screaming. You keep your composure. Stay calm and stay collected. Focus on your message and your needs. And you don't have to be upset about that. Right? Say things like I don't. Right? I don't allow this in my house. Right? Instead of asking for permission or approval, state your needs and be intentional and clear about what you want. Because that's the only thing that people understand is clear. Oh, I thought that you did. No, you ain't going to have to think with me because I'm going to let you know. I'm going to let you know. You don't have to think about nothing. It's going to be crystal clear. So you don't have to think about nothing. Don't let yourself be interrupted. Because sometimes people that want to abuse you or they think that they are in control, when you start talking, they'll interrupt you. That's their way of shutting you down. No, excuse me, I was talking. Can I finish? Can I finish what I was saying? I don't interrupt you, then don't interrupt me. Practice speaking until you're done. And don't let yourself be cut off prematurely about what you want to talk about. Because they will try to interrupt you because they don't care about what you're saying. So you have to put them in their place. And you don't have to start yelling and screaming. Excuse me. I let you talk. Can I talk now? Can you listen to what I say? I'm not done with what I'm talking about. Just as simple as that. and listen to the response. Be attentive to the other person's reaction and adjust your communication accordingly. If they seem like they don't care about what you're saying, then guess what? Maybe you gotta maneuver in a different way. Be clear about listening to their response. That way you know how to move next. So guys, I hope that this message resonated with you. I hope that you got something from it. If you did, make sure that you share it most of all. Share this to your family and your friends. Key reminder, self-compassion. Be kind and understanding to yourself, especially when you're learning to speak up for yourself. These are key things. Seek support if needed. Okay? Don't hesitate to seek help from friends, families, or a therapist if that's what you need. There's nothing wrong with getting a therapist if you need support and learning how to speak up for yourself. Get that help that you need. Okay? Nothing is going to get better unless you make it better. Practice makes perfect. The more you practice speaking up for yourself, the better it's going to get. The easier it will get. Okay? So practice speaking up for yourself. And like I said, start off with the little things. Because there will be bigger things coming and you will know how to deal with it. So practice the little things. Okay? By not letting people speak to you in a certain way. That's a good start. You know? Focus on the outcome. Remind yourself that speaking up is about ensuring that you get what you need and desire. Not about being rude or being confrontational, but it's just about getting what you want. Right? That's all it's about. Focus on those two things, and those are the outcomes. Again, I hope this message resonated with you. I hope that you got something from it. If you did, make sure that you share it to your family and your friends. Because knowledge is power, but only if you use it, guys. I thank you for joining me on today. May God continue to bless you. I thank every one of you that shows up for me every day, because I could not do it without you. Thank you. I appreciate you. You got it? Thank you so much. Thank you, Zeke. Appreciate you. Thank you for getting it. Make sure that you guys share this. And join me in my 8 a.m. podcast this morning, because you guys know I do 2 lives. And so make sure, thank you for the rose. I appreciate it. Make sure that you guys join me in my next live in about 20 minutes. Love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.